Hello everybody, Prow here, and welcome to another episode on the Bedrock Guide. And I'm chilling over here at my mob farm. I've been doing some AFKing here. As you can see, we got a whole lot of shulker boxes full of stuff. If you can't tell, I love mob-based farms, and today we're working on another one. And today's farm has to do with what's behind me. No, not a bell, silly. It has to do with gold. We need gold, lots of gold. And I have a pretty cheap and inexpensive one for you today that you guys are gonna love, and you can throw up in your worlds, honestly, pretty quick. But Prow, why do you need access to gold? Because I need access to gold, that's why. Okay, but what are you gonna use it for? What are you gonna use it for? Well, you see, I need it for a lot of reasons. We need gold here in the world to make golden apples, to convert the rest of these villagers into doing their 1 emerald trades. If you don't know about that, go to check out the villager trading episode from earlier in the season, and I explained that there in that episode. But we need golden apples for that. I also need it for piglin bartering too, because those piglin guys will trade gold for some things that I'd really like to have, such as water bottles, so we can use those for a potion brewing area eventually, which will probably be somewhere over there. Some quartz that we may use in some of our buildings and use for redstone supplies and things of that nature. Leather for item frames and armor. For tuning up armor stands that we're going to have maybe at different houses in the area and things like that. So we need leather for that. And we will need some gravel for trading with these guys right here, our friends the Fletchers. That way we can trade that gravel and get us flint. As you can see here, I can give him an emerald, and when I get his discounts, an emerald plus 1 gravel will get me 10 flint. That's a heck of a deal, guys. That's a real heck of a deal. And we're going to actually need that flint here coming up really soon. And really, a gold farm, depending on how big you make it, or really it might not even depend on how big you make it because this design is so good, it may just be the best XP source in Bedrock Edition. Yes, we do have our cheaty furnace XP thing here, and yes, I actually am going to make a much larger one that gets us a lot more XP quicker, but that's technically a bug. One day, that may be gone. We may not be able to rely on that. The XP farm, though, from the gold farm, I don't think that's going anywhere. I think that's here to stay. Now I'm back over here at the mob farm, and I'm here to show you guys the location for the gold farm. What we're gonna do is we're actually gonna end up putting it like right out here, kind of close to this, but not too close. Okay, so you can really put this kind of gold farm anywhere in the overworld is fine. You just have to account for a couple specific things. The portals that we're going to be building are 23 blocks by 23 blocks, so you're going to have a pretty large portal. Also, and it's not a cube, it's just a square, so like they go up and around like that. They're not like a cube shape. So 23 by 23 blocks for 1 or multiple portals. And then you'll need to drop your ziglins about, and yes, can you guys please call them ziglins, by the way? They're zombified piglins, therefore they're ziglins, okay? Anyways, you'll need to be able to drop these ziglins about 20 blocks to damage them prior to them getting killed by the trident killer, if you use a trident killer. If you don't use a trident killer, then you'll need to plan for how far you need to drop them to like drop kill them. Although if you are playing on a Sim 4 world, Simulation Distance 4, your spawning despawning radius is only 44 blocks. So you need to make sure that you don't sit in an area that's more than 44 blocks away from where the ziglins spawn, which is at the bottom of the portal. You'll see that part later, but just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as you plan this. Now, for me personally, I want to be about 128 blocks away from my farm here because I do play on a Sim 12 world, and I don't want to be standing anywhere here at this farm and have mobs spawn and take up the mob cap at the gold farm. So we're at about negative 1281 here. You guys see the second set of coordinates, the Z coordinates going up and down. So we want to be, I don't know, probably somewhere at about, let's say we'll go 120 blocks would take us to negative 1400. So we'll go about to negative 1450 or so, just to give us ourselves a little bit extra room. Now I got my spot about 170 blocks away from there. Like I said, just to keep things nice and safe, I like to overestimate. The world's big, right? So I don't have to pack everything as close together as I can. And then I want it to be at the same Y level, that middle number that's going up as I jump and place blocks here. I want it to be the same Y level as the mob farm over there. Just, I don't know, it just makes me feel better if I do it that way. even though it doesn't technically matter. So we're going to go ahead and pillar up to Y level 191 and kind of mark that that's going to be our like kill chamber area, our killing floor. And then from there, I'll show you guys where everything else will go. Now, I'm up in the air at this section where I'm going to be building the portals. So kind of how I've set things up is, let's see if I can go down a little bit. I have that platform right there, which is going to be where I am standing to kill the mobs or slash have the trident killer running. I've gone up 20 blocks and marked the platform here for my purposes. You guys will see that part a little bit later. And I went up 3 more blocks and marked the platform right here. This is the one we need to worry about right now, though, is your top platform. And you may not have this middle one. And in all honesty, unless you watch through to the end, I would just say don't include that one. If you watch through to the end, you'll see why I used it. So from that platform area where your mobs are going to be dropping, which is 20 blocks up from that platform right there, what you'll want to do is go ahead and count up 1, 2 blocks from that. And then you'll go up a 3rd block with obsidian. This is where we're going to start making our portals. And what we need to do is we need to count over 13 or 11 blocks this way and 11 blocks this way, because this is the center one. And then we will have a row of obsidian 23 blocks long. And then we will also count up 23 blocks in the air. So let's go ahead and get this process started. Now we have a row of obsidian here. This is 23 blocks long. We're going to count, starting this one as number 1 and go up 2, 3, 4, all the way until we hit 23. And we're going to square this thing off, make it into a square. Now we've made our first portal here. Again, this thing is 23 by 23 across, up and down and everywhere. It's a square. And the reason we've chosen 23 blocks is because this is the largest portal you can make and still actually light. Now, this is a portal ticking farm design. It uses a mechanic where you flicker the portals on and off really fast, and ziglins, yes, ziglins, I said ziglins, they spawn from the portal when this happens. The bigger the portal, the more ziglins that spawn. It's that simple. Now, there's a method almost identical to this that I'm going to show you guys that uses lava to light the portals. What we're going to do doesn't use lava, it's going to use flint and steel. Lava will create the fire that you need to light the portal, and then you guys will see the method to unlight the portal here shortly. But we are on a fire tick off world. Fire spread is turned off, meaning that the fire from a lava will not spread to light this portal. So we're using a method that's going to use flint and steel. We already have an iron farm for the crazy, like that gets us a crazy amount of iron. And we have those Fletchers that you guys saw earlier that I want to trade with. Those guys can get us tons of flint, or of course we can always like mine it with a Fortune 3 shovel and get a whole lot of flint that way too. But let's go ahead and get this show on the road because it's turning nighttime. I want to sleep, and we actually have a second portal to install. Now I'm going to talk about the like portals and how many you should have, etc. in a little bit, but keep in mind that you're going to do this exact same thing regardless of how many portals that you have. You can separate and make more portals exactly how I am doing here. We have come out 2 blocks away from that, and on the 3rd block we are setting up our obsidian, and we're going to just copy this design right here and do another portal right beside it. So if you're going to do more than 2 portals, then you would just go down another 3 blocks and put another piece of obsidian, 4 portals, etc. The more portals you do, just keep going down. Next thing we're doing is making the floor where the ziglins are going to fall down onto. Now, one important thing to know is the ziglins will always spawn on the positive side of the portal on either the X or the Z axis, meaning that if you move in a direction and that Z number is going up, the negative 1450, negative 1451, negative 1450, negative 1449, that is the positive direction. The ziglins will spawn on this side. Adversely, if you see this way, 511, 512, 513, this is the positive direction. So if your portals are going the other way, then the ziglins are going to spawn on that side. What we're going to do, we're going to give these ziglins a little bit of space, and we're going to take this floor out, and this floor is going to come out 1, 2 blocks past this, just to make sure we give them plenty of room. And then on this side, your floor is actually going to stop directly under your portal like this. And actually it won't even be a floor there. We're going to end up doing a little wall right there. And then same thing on both of the sides, going towards the sides of the portals. We will actually just take the flooring all the way down to the edge, because we're going to put a wall right here in line with the portal border. So we are only using 2 portals here, because honestly, unless you play on a large multiplayer server and like plan on making a gold shop of some sort, or you're going to set up a massive bartering farm, then this is really going to be all that you need, honestly. But in a little bit, I'll show you how to expand and add more portals. So just keep that in mind. Too many portals can be pretty laggy as well. So honestly, even if you want to go big, I probably wouldn't do more than like 4 or 6. If you want to see what a huge, like one of these farms looks like with a similar setup, well, the setup's a little bit different, but it works the same way. You can go back and check out my Truly Bedrock episode back when I was on the Truly Bedrock SMP, where I made a huge one of these that used 12 portals. And honestly, it was so fast that I couldn't even use it. It was too fast. It would lag the server out. So yeah, 2 portals is good. If you want to do more, stay tuned. Now we have our little area here where our Ziglins are going to drop down into. Remember, they're going to spawn on this side of the portal. So basically the idea is that this is a little box that's going to temporarily hold them until we lead them to their deaths. They're going to drop down into here, and then they are going to get filtered down into a little drop system where we are going to drop them. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can filter these Ziglins. Now, one of them would be setting up water streams where you push the Ziglins down, and then eventually you push them into a little 2x2 hole, so that way the trident killer can kill them or they can fall to their death, and then you can collect the drops that way. Or these guys hate turtle eggs. When I say hate, I mean hate turtle eggs. So if you can get some of those, we can just make them go after turtle eggs. They'll pathfind to it. Now, if you go this route, I would also recommend you get some coral fans. You can go to a coral reef in one of the oceans and obtain them by using a silk touch tool. That will get you the coral fans. But if you can't get this, trapdoors will work too. But I'll show you the method here in a moment of how we're going to get the Ziglins to go after the eggs, but not actually get the eggs. Now we're going to be using the turtle eggs. You see, I got 7 of them right here. You don't really need that many, but that's how many I got. You probably only need 2. And I'll show you why here in a second. But basically, like I said, Ziglins hate turtle eggs. I don't know why, because cute little baby turtles come out of them, but they don't like them. And they will actually become aggressive too and try to squish these little guys at about 10 blocks away, a 10 block radius. Think a 10 block circle, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of split this area. We're just going to kind of split this area up and just kind of like, I guess, try to center things a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're actually going to pop that out right there. And we're going to do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're taking 6 and 7 out. We could take these guys right here out as well, because those are not needed. And then what we can do is we can build outwards, because we are going to start taking these guys and moving them over and dropping them down. So we're going to come out 1, 2, and a 3rd block. And we can go ahead, we can knock these out for now. And we're going to have a little platform right here, okay? Actually, I need to get myself back out here, because we do not want to stand on this platform, because we're going to put eggs on it. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put 2 eggs on it because I want to. But you can just have 1, would honestly work just fine. But I'll go ahead and put a second one right here. And then I told you about coral fans or trapdoors. Now, I'm going to use coral fans. But you can use either one of these, because what will happen is the Ziglins will actually see this as a solid block. They think that this is just regular old floor, and they can walk right over here like it's no problem. And then they're just going to do right down there and fall and get killed by our trident killer we put down there later. Trapdoors work too. The reason that I prefer to not use trapdoors is because It might be possible. I've seen situations a while back in the past, so I don't know if it'll still happen, that like a Ziglin, especially a baby Ziglin that maybe can move kind of quick, maybe he gets across there, like across the trapdoors. Again, I don't think this will happen, but just keep an eye on it. If you ever notice that a couple of your eggs are missing, that's why, because it got squished. So we did that over here. We're gonna do that on this side as well. And actually, one thing I forgot to do while I was over there, so I'll go back and do it. But we are gonna have this as like a drop chute where our Ziglins are gonna drop down. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just going to, oh, not there. I have more, yes I do. We're gonna actually just kind of make this into a little corridor, so to speak. That way there's no way that the Ziglins can get over here across any blocks or anything like that. And also this will kind of frame our drop chute in, since the drop chute's going to be right there. And then we are going to put our coral fans on this side too. And I'm going to go back over to the other side and do this there too. Next, it's time to put in the dispensers. So I have 4 dispensers, or I have more than 4, but I only need 4 dispensers right here. And the dispensers, they can go on either end of the portal, but they have to be on the side opposite of where the Ziglins are going to spawn. So Ziglins spawn on the positive side, so the dispensers will go on the negative side. So we'll put one here in the corner, and then we will go up a couple spots, put a couple temporary blocks down, and put another one right here. You'll have a 1 space gap in between them, just like that. And then same deal here. We'll go this, we'll go this, we'll go this, and we'll go this, like that. Boom. And boom, get rid of those temporary blocks. And now we have our dispensers. The bottom dispenser, you will put your water buckets in. We'll touch on those and kind of how all of that works in a little bit, but go ahead and you can put your water buckets inside of those guys now. We're also going to get our top dispenser set up. This is where our flint and steel is going to go into. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up, get on top of one of these guys, and try not to freak out here too much, because I am going to go maybe a little overboard with this because I can, but I would recommend doing this if you're able to sit down for a period of time and really fill this thing up with flint and steel. Because if you use this a lot, say you're going to try to power a piglin bartering farm and you really want to have a whole lot of gold, you're going to also end up making a whole lot of flint and steel. And flint and steel doesn't stack. So these guys right here, that's only 9 flint and steel, which isn't going to last you very long. By the way, I didn't mention this, but just to say that I did, because other people are going to say this in the comments. I can see you guys' comments already. I can see it to the future. You can also use fire charges for this too, not just flint and steel. I'm not going to go over fire charges. You can get them from piglin bartering, and you can craft them as well. So you can look those up if you want to. But we're going to alternate. We're going to do a hopper there, and we're going to do a double chest, and then a hopper, and then a double chest. And we're going to do this all the way up to the very top, and then end with a hopper at the top there. That way we can craft and throw in a whole bunch of flint and steel and just have it cycle down through the system. And we're going to do that on both sides. And there you can see how that worked out. Hopper chest all the way up. Ending with the hopper at the top. I probably should put like a few blocks around this too. I like to use glass up at the top for this because I might want to come up here and, you know, look down and just watch all the Ziglins fall down. It is kind of a fun sight to see. And then also I will come up here to craft the flint and steel. Big suggestion if you play on PC, or I don't know if mobile can do this or not, but probably not, but on PC anyway, I actually set up a macro for this. It's just a keyboard like thing that will go through and it will automatically do the flint and steel crafting for me. Otherwise you're gonna have to do it the hard way. You'll put a crafting table right here and just, or any block right here just to block the flint and steel from going off the edge. And you'll just craft and just keep knocking it down in there until you run out of materials or it's full. Now it's time to make the redstone clock that makes this whole thing possible. And while I'm not going to explain exactly how every little bit of the clock works, I will explain what it's doing and why that works, okay? We'll do that towards the end. This clock, by the way, is not my design. I had reached out to a redstone person that I knew and has his own YouTube channel. His name is Jokers. I'm not sure how active he is anymore at this point, but I'm going to drop his description, his channel link down in the description below. Go check him out if you like. And Jokers helped me come up with this design for this clock based on what I wanted to do, and it works perfectly. So what we're gonna do is I have like a little bit of a pathing here for where our redstone's actually gonna go. So we have the, these are the top dispensers here and here. So we come out 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we got these connected. Now, technically this clock you could put anywhere in here along this line. If you have 3 portals, 4 portals, 8 portals, you could put this thing literally anywhere as long as you're getting redstone signal to everything. But what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna put it over here at the very end. So we're gonna put a glass block right here, and a glass block right here. And just to kind of help us orient ourselves for where we are, we're gonna go ahead and put a redstone repeater right here. Put a solid block right there. And then we'll come back up and visit this at the end. Right now though, we actually need to drop down because it's gonna be easier to work on this thing from down below. So I'm gonna go ahead and get myself a block right here, just so we can kind of get under everything. And I believe this will work. You know what? Just to make sure, we'll go down one more. Okay, so this clock is simple to make. So we got the top area set up here. We're gonna put a sticky piston right here facing downwards and a redstone block on that sticky piston. Okay, then we're gonna put a temporary block right here. We're gonna put, you can use a regular piston here. I grabbed a sticky piston by mistake, so it's fine. I'll use a sticky piston. And then a piece of obsidian or crying obsidian, basically an unmovable block right there. And then we have a redstone torch. The redstone torch is gonna go right here on this side of the piston. And then we need to get our glass blocks back out. It's good to use glass here because of how these redstone lines are going to be going over top of each other. Glass or top half slabs are going to be your block of choice here. And we're going to do this same thing, but at this level, this dispenser level. So we're going to go here. We can pop this out right here. We're going to go here, here, and then I need myself a little bit more walkway. And connect those guys up right there, and then put one more right here. Now we have this path. What we're going to do is we're going to take some redstone dust, and we're going to run redstone dust to this guy right here, like that, and then this guy right here. Now I have a recommendation for you. You probably don't need to do this when you have only 2 portals. Although it's a good idea too, because your world will build up less pending ticks. Pending ticks are just something that can cause a lot of lag and problem in the world. Not too much of an issue nowadays because Mojang has, for the most part, fixed them. But what you want to do is you do want to kind of segment your portals out in terms of how they are. Do I not have repeaters? There's my repeaters. How they're ticking. If we put a repeater right here, it makes it so this side is actually going to be slightly out of sync of this side. And that's actually a good thing because it's going to cause less lag in your world and build up less these pending ticks. So I do recommend you segment out your portals that way. At least split your group in half. So if you have like 4 portals, do 2 on one and 2 on the other. And I'm just going to do this on my world just because I want to. Like I said, it'll cause less lag. So we got that up there. We can actually build ourselves up right here. We put a piece of redstone dust right here on top of the repeater, and I mean the piston. And then we are going to put, let's see, a piece of redstone dust right here, and then a piece of glass right here, piece of redstone dust right here. And then I'm not going to put this one in yet because it's going to turn it on. So we're going to run redstone dust here, here. We'll put another repeater there, redstone dust, redstone dust, redstone dust. And then one last one, just to show you guys, I'm going to take it out here, or actually I won't need to take it out. You see how this turns the system on? It is flickering ultra fast, which is good. That's what we want. And then we could take a lever here and put the lever anywhere on here is fine. I'll probably actually route a on-off switch somewhere else that'll run power to this. Basically powering this turns it off, or unpowering it turns it on, or turns the clock on, just like this. So you guys can see how it works. So what's happening here? I want to explain that to you guys really quick, because I always like to give the what and the how and the why, because it can help you understand things and be able to adapt things for yourself. Okay, so we're not going to explain exactly how the clock works, but we're going to explain what it's doing. So what the system's doing is it is ticking or giving power to these dispensers down here twice for every time it is giving power to these once. That's important because as I turn this on, what you can see happening is the water is very quickly going in and out, and you see how it's out of sync, which is good. That's what I wanted. But the water is quickly going in and out. And then up here, although we don't have the flint and steel in it yet, that will be triggering off your flint and steel. So what's going to happen is this guy is going to spit the water. It's going to spit water out to break the portal. The spitting water, the water will break the nether portal, and then it will suck the water back in. When it sucks the water back in, this one goes off and it will light the portal with the flint and steel. And then this one will kick the water out again, break it, bring it back in, and then this one will light again, light the portal. And it's just going to do that in a rapid succession. Also, this right here can actually change the speed of the farm. So this is a single tick, a 1 tick speed. You can do 2 ticks. See, it's a little bit slower. 3 ticks. And 4 ticks. So just depending on your world, you may want to do any one of these. A single player world, you could probably run it at 1 tick is really fast, especially even just for 2 portals. So it'll probably glitch out. 2 ticks will probably be the speed that a lot of you run it in. If you're on a realm or a world that has a lot of lag for some reason, you play with a lot of other people, whatever the case may be, you may want it on 4 ticks because it'll allow you to be able to run this thing and not too much affect the people that are in your world. So keep all that in mind. And that is overall how the system works. Now, one thing that you can do, really a couple things you could do to make your quality of life a little bit better for this system is number one, these guys are supposed to have water out by default, but sometimes if you leave the area while the system is running, the water could actually start on the, like in the dispenser when you go to light it up, which means that when you flick this thing on, it's probably not going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a switch on the backside dispenser here, and bam, now we can have that water on. Now, I don't want, oh, that washed down my coral fans. That makes me really sad. So for a couple reasons, including that one right there, we actually want to block this water in, which is going to be super easy to do. I'm going to take a button, put a button here, put a button here, put a button here. That water is now trapped in. Button, where did I put it? Here, here, here. That water is now trapped in too. We don't have to worry about water leaking down here, maybe making it harder for our piglins to pathfind over and not destroying our coral fans, which I now need to replace. I've put the final touches on here for how I wanted to do it. You remember I said that you could drop this down to 2 drop floors or 2 trident killers, that'd be fine. But what I did and why I had that other little lip down there at the bottom was I dropped down and then I have one other area that these guys are gonna go to try to get these eggs right here, which is gonna take them down to the kill chamber, a single kill chamber rather than having 2. It just works better for what I want to do. So we have this thing kind of ready to go. I have not tested it yet. I haven't hit the button, and we're gonna find out together right now if it works. Ooh, it's ticking. It's on. Is this one on? That one's not on. What happened? Turn off. Just ran a little test, and I think I know why. It's because I had it in 1 tick mode, which, like I told you guys earlier, is a bit too fast, really, for almost anything to handle. So 2 tick mode should make them both fire off. We'll hit the button. Ah, yes, they are both flickering. That is absolutely perfect. Great, and then we go. Ah! We go down here. We can see these guys falling down. They aggro those eggs up top for a little bit longer than I like before they give up to try to come over, but they do eventually try to come. I think it'll be okay with the speed that we'll have this. Oh, we should probably turn this thing off. This is getting ridiculous. Don't. Ah! All right, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Make sure you click that like button, subscribe to the channel if you like these videos. And in the next episode, I thought I was going to do it in this episode. I changed my mind last second. We're actually going to do another episode. The next one will be us making the storage system for this place, as well as the trident killer. So make sure you tune in the next time. I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna take care of these guys, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.